I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we did make a gap forward, so I would watch. That does mean we do have an 80% likelihood to pull back and fill that. That could make a double top. That would be positive for crypto, but we will need the lower time frames to hold bullish strength for that to happen. VWAP is trying to push up. Our money flow is in the green. Momentum is pushing up. The stochastic does want to push forward, and RSI is gaining strength. Over on Dixie for the 1 hour, we do have a symmetrical triangle that could be forming here. So we have rising tops and rising bottoms and falling tops. They do kind of converge. So that is a 50-50 pattern. However, it does come after a push up. That is a bull pendant that could continue to push us forward. So the MPP does say there's an 80% chance we could push to the 109, but we did kind of sputter out. We went sideways, so it does predict because of the sideways momentum we could see a rejection to the 108. If we saw that rejection to our 108, that would be positive for crypto and push us up, as we would have a lower high with lower lows. So that's what we want to see if crypto is going to push up usually. Our VWAP is pushing forward, momentum is pushing up, money flow is in the green, so we do look pretty positive here. If that VWAP can break for a higher high, then we could get a bullish channel and we could push forward. How's it going, Abolisher? We will get on graph right after we get to Bitcoin, so we will give you our price prediction for that shortly. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you have had great holidays too. So over on Bitcoin dominance, we could have a symmetrical triangle here, but it's after a push up and then a push down, kind of some consolidation, goofy momentum. So I would bet on this being more of a 50-50 pattern. That's why our probability says we can go up or down. So I would watch. If we continue seeing red candles here and reject the value area high, we would see dominance continue to weaken. That would be positive for total, as that would help create an alt season. Our VWAP is rolling away, momentum is rounding away. That money flow does look like it is bullish, but it does want to lose some strength, so watch very close. Over on the 1 hour, that VWAP is getting a lower high, so watch if we do break. If that VWAP breaks, then it's likely dominance could continue to fall. So over on total for the daily, it does look like we are attempting to get a little bit of a support level here built out, so that is positive. We do need to push forward here though, so we need to see some bullish momentum off the support. Otherwise, if we get some further red candles, then we do risk breaking and then pushing down to the 749. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to push down. That VWAP is in the bearish territory, and the momentum is falling as well. That is causing money flow to pull back. Again, this does lead all of our altcoins besides Ethereum, so I would watch. We do have a potential for a double bottom on the 1 hour, where we have a drop, a rise, a drop, and then we are attempting to bounce back through that resistance. So we need continued green candles, and we need to break and hold above our Fibonacci zone. So we need to hit that less likely probability of the 973. If we do not hit that and hold, then we could see further rejection, making lower highs. So watch that, as the MPP does say there was a possibility of seeing some lower highs, but we did bounce past that. So I would watch for higher highs in this range and a break of that Fibonacci zone in order to push our altcoins up. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we are seeing further red candles, so we are getting a quick drop. Remember, when you see quick moves, you do typically retrace. So that being said, our MPP is projecting we could make a bounce. That would be a lower high though, so I would still exercise caution, but this could be a decent DCA opportunity. If you haven't bought, we may end up moving our Bitcoin buy order. Our RSI is pulling back, stochastic is starting to drop. That VWAP is favoring bearish, so I would watch. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish, money flow will continue to weaken, and we could continue to push down. Remember, we do have that gap here around that like 80, 70, 80K. So 78, 80K range. So we could fill that gap if we continue seeing this bearish momentum. So over on the 1 hour, we do have lower highs and lower lows. They don't connect very well, as these highs were almost pretty close and these lows are pretty far away. So we do not have a descending channel. This is a bearish continuation. It may be played out, as we did see a very quick push down. Remember, quick moves usually do get retraced. The MPP does say we could push up. We did hit our target of a higher low. We are trying to push forward from that, so we need to continue higher with higher highs. If we filled the 66 probability where we hit 98k, then we could see a higher high, and that could give us some bullish momentum off this range. Again, that's why I'm saying this could be a decent DCA range right here. If VWAP does want to push up, momentum is starting to push down, and money flow is in the red, so I would exercise caution. So over on Bitcoin, like I was saying, we probably want to move our order as we just barely missed it today. So we may want to buy in as our average is right around that 100K. So buying here around 90K, 10K lower, that's 10% lower. That is a pretty decent average spot. So I will move my order up in this range just so we can get some real quick, just because we want that average. So that'll help increase. There we go. Over on our VWAP, we are starting to push down. Momentum is losing strength. Money flow is pulling back. The stochastic is weakening, and RSI is starting to drop. So overall, it does look like the 1 hour is bearish, but we could attempt that push forward. This could be a drop, a rise, and then a drop. So we could make a double bottom here as well. That would be a very big double bottom, and that would attempt to push us forward, probably past that 110K that the MPP is projecting. So over on the 1 hour here, we are seeing the MPP does want to push us around that 97K. That would be around the neckline of a double bottom here as well. It would be a little slanted here though. Stochastic is starting to pull back. RSI is starting to weaken. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. VWAP is pushing up, pushing that momentum higher. So we do look positive. We have a green dot. So if that VWAP can continue a bullish trend here, then momentum will continue further. Money flow will go into the green. It is starting to curl up right now, and we will continue to bounce forward, hopefully gaining bullish momentum. But watch that 93K range. We need to overcome that as a resistance and turn it into support in order to continue forward. So over on graph, like you requested, Abolisher, we are seeing a little bit of a push down. We are holding this 20-cent support pretty decently, so we don't have our buy order anymore. I believe we had a buy order around that 16,316. We may want to reevaluate if we would benefit buying in our range for how our portfolio looks, but this may be a hint that this could be a solid support level. We may get another bounce like we have seen when we hit this level and kind of stuttered. Stochastic is starting to pull back, momentum is pushing down, VWAP is starting to push down, and money flow is weakening, but I would watch for a bounce. That bounce would push us to our next resistance right around that 26,424, and if we can break and hold that, that would swear we would continue back toward that 31,954. So over on the 1 hour, our MPP is projecting a short-term high that did not fill, so I would exercise caution. We got the lower high scenario. If we end up breaking this support level, then our MPP does say we could push down toward that 17. At VWAP is trying to break bullish, so we do have a shorter bearish wave here, so that is positive. If we can get a stronger bullish wave in this range, that would push momentum higher, give that money flow strength, and that would help push us forward again toward those resistance areas. So I hope that was helpful for you, Abolisher. Over on Anchor for the daily, we did see a push up toward our resistance area. We did not manage to fill that. We did see a break of our support. We did not hold, so we do have some indecision. This may be a long upper shadow if we're not careful. So price prediction for Q1. No problem, Sillin. I'll get back to Anchor in a second. Looks like I have an unanswered question and graph. So for Q1, if we're able to break these resistance areas, I would look for a break around that 50-cent range as our next major support resistance area. And then if we see like a true altcoin season, that's where we would start to break into this previous Fibonacci range and hopefully push toward our golden pocket. If we revisited all-time highs during a altcoin season, that could try to push us right around $2 range, but that may be like well into maybe Q2. I would say Q1 we're probably going to see more of a pump up in the coming months as people start putting like tax money into the market. Usually you see a short-term pump as retail investors pump their money in during tax time, and then the market gets a big jump. People usually dump because they made quick money and then they want out, or some people invest in meme coins and then get wrecked in that range. So I would exercise caution on meme coins around then. So I would watch. We could hopefully break toward that dollar range, I would say, if we overcome that 50 cent. So that would be like my next two big target ranges if we break away from the current range we're in. So over back to Anchor, we are seeing the potential for a push down. We did not get that full push down, so this could be positive. Stochastic is pulling back. That RSI is pretty flat. That VWAP does want to push forward. Money flow is starting to weaken, so I would exercise caution. But with that VWAP starting to curl, we could see momentum bounce forward, and that would keep that money flow in the green and help push us forward. Again, watching next resistance areas like that 37.67 or 367. So I would watch for a push there. And then if we break and hold that, our MPP is projecting we could hit toward that 4 cent area. That would be positive. Stochastic is starting to pull back. That VWAP does want to break forward. We did get a more significant bearish wave. So if we see a rejection of that neutral here, momentum will remain bearish. Money flow will continue to weaken. Higher time frames would break down, and we would continue a bearish trend with lower highs and lower lows. Right now, it does look like we may have a descending channel trying to form. Nope. So the highs and lows don't connect too well unless you mix the wick. Right here, I wouldn't really mix the wick. So we may not have that descending channel. That descending channel would be what would try to push us forward and give us that bullish momentum. So right now we do have more of a bearish continuation. So watch for a retest of the support. If we get a retest of support and we do not hold, then we could continue lower toward like that 365. Stochastic is pulling back. That momentum does want to push forward, but we need that VWAP to break into a bullish trend in order for us to get that push forward. The MPP is projecting, again, we could push forward, but that will rely on that VWAP, as that VWAP will show people are buying. If we don't get buying pressure, then price isn't really going to go up. Over on XRP for the daily, we did reject the top. Stochastic is pulling back. RSI is starting to push down. VWAP is pushing down, and momentum is rounding. So we are staying within our pattern. I would watch this could end up playing out. We are getting close to the peak of the pattern, and then we could see a pretty quick play out at that point. So over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to round away. I would watch if we make a break on that stochastic, that will bring us lower. RSI is trying to make a bounce though, so as long as that stochastic stays in this overbought area, RSI could try to push price forward. We do have a strong green candle, bullish engulfing candle, so if we see another strong green candle, we could see a run forward. Just exercise caution, because if we see two strong green candles and then indecision, we may kind of repeat this where we get a pull back. Stochastic does want to push up though. RSI is trying to push up. VWAP is trying to push up. It does have a shorter wave, so that does want to push momentum up. No problem, Abolisher. Hope you have a great night. And money flow is trying to pull back, so I would exercise caution. But if that VWAP can break and hold that neutral, we will see a bounce forward. We do have a higher low trying to form here, so if we follow it with a higher high, our MPP is projecting we do push to that 250 yet. So I would watch. We would need to continue a bullish trend in this range in order to get that. If we start seeing lower highs and lower lows, then watch for our bearish breakdown. Over on Algo for the daily, we may want to consider moving our buy order up here as well. So we will have to watch that on our right after we do our TA. We are starting to push down. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is starting to push away. Momentum is losing strength. VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is starting to weaken. So I would exercise caution with that VWAP making a lower wave. Momentum could continue lower. Money flow could continue to break down, and that would give us a further push to the downside. So we may not want to move that after all, depending on how these lower time frames look. Remember, if the rest of the altcoin market were to push up, it would be likely Algo would push up too. So over on the 1 hour, we did try to break our 34, but we got a pretty strong push forward. We need to continue forward, making a bullish engulfing candle or seeing two strong green candles. Two strong green candles could give us bullish confirmation. Bullish confirmation would push us to that 37.49. The MPP does say there's about a 50% chance of breaking that and then continuing forward. VWAP does want to push up. Momentum is starting to gain strength, so we do look positive, providing VWAP can make a bullish trend. money flow is starting to pull back. So overall, I would exercise caution, but that VWAP does look like it wants to push up. And again, if it holds, we could continue higher and see that probability of breaking that resistance area. So now we will look at our trading. Where is our average on algo? That's going to be our question first before we want to change anything. So our average is 42.60. So buying in this range would be a pretty decent drop. That would be about a 10-cent drop. So we could move this order up if we want, since we are seeing a strong fight for the support resistance area. And then we are seeing the rest of the market potentially want to push forward. So that will be a decent opportunity to average down on that. We do have graph as well we wanted to look at. We don't really have much of a loss on graph. We're at about a 25-cent average. So a 5-cent drop, really not worth us buying right now, for my opinion. If you're in your own account, you may want to average depending on how much you hold. Respectively, we do hold less graph than we do see other coins. So based on that, we may want to buy some just to kind of like keep our keep things diverse a little. So here we could buy just a little bit in this range in the hopes that the rest of the market pushes forward. And then we may want to set another trade somewhere down here in this range, just in case we do end up seeing that breakdown. So thank you for watching tonight's video. Hope you have a great night. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join us in the Discord.